I like to think of breakfast as the opening act of the play that is our day. And no matter how small or how grand, it should be relished and enjoyed. Pay attention to how you're nourishing your body and realize that by doing so, you are setting yourself up to thrive for the rest of the day. So let's talk about chic breakfasts for a second, because this is an area where I was really falling short in. If you don't prepare for things the night before, I find you will then get up the next day, you'll start doing work, you'll start taking care of the house, and then when it comes time to eat, you end up gorging on whatever has been left back in the fridge because you're so hungry that you're just like, oh, let me get what's easy. And especially if you have a to-do list that is just getting longer and longer by the minute. This is why I'm loving preparing for things the night before. Be it that I'm on a little bit of a weight loss journey that isn't going so well, I have been having to take a lot more intentionality into the things that is in the house, and I'm cooking with a lot more whole ingredients, and so that is not something that can just be cooked like that. I've also been making a lot of chia puddings, and this one, I saw it on TikTok. It was like a chia pudding with some oatmeal, and then you let it set overnight, and that has been beautiful. But again, that's not something that I can make on the fly. It's something that I have to make the night before because it needs time to set. So regardless of if it needs time to set, I should still be putting the certain level of care and intentionality into preparing the night before, because then I will be able to ensure that I'm eating in a chic manner every single day. The next thing that I've been loving doing is thinking seasonally. So you know that porridge chia breakfast that I just spoke about? It's quite a mundane breakfast. I mean, I don't think anybody gets thrilled with the thought of oatmeal or porridge, but if you put some seasonal toppings on top, it's still a way that you can make sure that you are maybe not being too indulgent first thing in the morning and having a lot of sugar. But when you use seasonal fruits or toppings to put on top, it actually elevates the experience. So may it be that it is, the autumn and you are using spiced stewed apples with cinnamon and you put that on top. Or maybe in winter, you can put the smallest dollop of like mascarpone and some plums, some spiced plums, and then that's how you're having it. I'm finding that when I go to a restaurant and they have a seasonal menu, it feels so bougie, it feels so leveled up, it feels so exclusive because you know that you can only get it for a small moment in time. You can take that same essence and implement it into your own everyday experience. Do you set your table? I left that a second there because I want you to honestly answer that to yourself. Again, this is one of these things that I'm learning on my kind of homemakery journey and level up journey at home, is that there are things that I used to think were so outdated, but they actually have purpose. So what do I mean by that? Placemats. My husband usually sits right here, and every day, every morning, I'm having to like scrub away at the table because when he's dropped his food, it's like baked into the table. If there was a placemat there, oh my gosh, it would have been so much easier. I could have just thrown it into the wash, right? I think that setting the table, it's beautiful and it will make you feel elegant and leveled up and chic, especially if you've got candles and maybe some flowers. It will feel nice and it will just make the whole experience that much more enjoyable. Think about when you go to a nice restaurant. If it was a dump inside, you wouldn't be like, oh, I feel so elegant. Whereas when you go in somewhere fancy, you stand taller, And so you can have that same experience at home in your day-to-day. One of the things that I noticed is that I was setting the table, yes, not with placemats or a tablecloth, but I was setting the table when my husband was eating with me, but then when it was just me, I was eating at the counter in the kitchen. That's not going to be a way that I can feel like I'm cherishing the little moments or finding the chic moments in my day-to-day. And be it that I work from home and I'm at home majority of the time, wouldn't it make more sense to elevate some of these more everyday experiences, these daily experiences? Setting the table is one of the easiest ways that you can do that. So I've been loving lighting my Nicholas Fairford candle. It is so beautiful. And then I have been loving having flowers. Now, my friend Lorena got me this rose, and it's not cut flowers. It's just a growing flower, but I always have some type of flowers. If I'm on a tighter budget, I get the $1.99 little bunch of flowers that is at the grocery store. If I have a little bit more room in my budget, I might pick flowers up from my client at her florist shop. So you know what is gonna work best for you. But I do truly think that there are ways that you can inject a little bit of these chic moments into your everyday that will help elevate the experience and make you just feel like you're living a more fulfilled, joyous, and beautiful life. When you get up for the day, do you just jump into doing work, or do you connect with people? One of the things that I love, and I have to put a timer on this, is I use an app called Marco Polo, and it is, think of it like FaceTime meets WhatsApp. And so basically my friends can send me a video message, and when I've moved, I'm stumbling over my words, but I've moved. I am Canadian originally, and I now live in the UK. And so a lot of my friends are at home in Canada, or they've moved abroad themselves. And so this is a way that I feel like I can have a face-to-face conversation with them, even though it's not actually face-to-face. Now, there are other ways that I stay connected with people. My friend Sharon, she actually just started her YouTube channel. I'll have it linked for you in the description box down below. She has a family channel here in Bristol, and then she just started her own personal channel. Sharon, I have to call her out for this. She calls me all the time, and it always comes at a moment where I could use a friend to talk to. And so this has been something that I'm trying to be a little bit more intentional with in my day-to-day, and usually when I'm starting off my day, because I feel like that's the point in my day where I have the most time. Whereas if I try to do this at the end of the day, when I'm maybe trying to rush to get certain things done before I can call it a day, I feel a little bit more stressed if I try to do this at the end of the day. So is there somebody that you can connect with in the morning and have a catch up with? Maybe this is where you can invite some people over for 11s, which if you don't know what that is, it's coming up in a upcoming video. Maybe this means that you get on the phone with somebody. Again, this might be a little bit challenging if you live in different time zones like I do, but you can look at your life and see how this works out for you. But if you can't connect with someone on the phone or in real life, maybe see if this is a time where you can connect with yourself. Maybe that means you are going to do some journaling. Maybe that means that you are going to go on a walk. Again, you'll know the best way that you can kind of flesh this out. Do you listen to music in the morning? I have been loving, it feels so bougie and it feels so extra, but I have been loving listening to classical music in the morning. I really struggle to get up early, and if I got up to use the bathroom in the middle of the night, it is more of a struggle because I've been loving learning about my circadian rhythm, and if I don't wake up naturally and it's my alarm waking me up, it is like bringing me back to life from the dead. And so one of the things that I've been loving, when my husband gets up for work at 5:30, I will have my alarm set for 5:45, and then I put on classical music. It is a way that it gently wakes me up, and I'm just absolutely loving it. Now, I do listen to music throughout the day, but I do find the type of music that I listen to changes throughout the day. But I have been absolutely loving waking up this way. Is there a way that you can inject some music into your day-to-day? I promise you it will lift the mood and lift your daily experience. So I typically try to observe intermittent fasting, and I try to do is it 16 and 8? I think that's it. So where you eat for 8 hours throughout the day and then you fast for 16 hours. So depending on the schedule that my husband is working, I will kind of shift the hours that I work. I think it's really nice to have a meal together, so because of that, I just really try to alter what hours I'm eating and what hours I'm fasting. So typically, that means I don't start eating for my day until 12. With that being said, your girl is hungry before that, but this is where I will have some black coffee. And coffee, I believe it is actually a food depressant, or a hunger depressant, sorry. So yeah, I find that having that coffee allows me to not feel as hungry until midday, and then that's when I start to eat. The biggest flex on this that you'll want to do is get a high quality coffee. If you try to do this with just instant, it is absolutely putrid. And this is actually another experience that you can level up, is that if you do like coffee, I feel like if you like instant coffee, there's gonna be no way you don't like higher quality coffee. And I'm loving going and seeking out different coffee roasters in my local area. It's one way that I'm getting to know where I live a little bit more, because I'm not originally from here, and is also just learning more about the coffee experience. I think people often think of like, oh, wine, it's like this leveled up thing to do, which it is. But I think you can have that same experience and essence of fanciness even with going to see a independent coffee roaster. So some of the lighter breakfasts that I have been having is porridge with a little bit, as I said, a little bit of not a puree, but there's a word and I can't think of it, but sometimes it will be apples and cinnamon, and I will heat that on the stove and then reduce it down to kind of there's a word. If you've made it this far in the video, let me know in the comments. But yeah, just some type of like fruit topping. That's usually what I'll have in the morning. Or if I'm wanting something a little bit lighter, I'll have some yogurt with some berries and then a honey drizzle. You have to be mindful with honey though. I've been learning a lot about honey, is that a lot of honeys they're just sugar with a little bit of honey flavoring. So you have to be careful and maybe try and source out real raw honey. And then I've been loving having poached eggs and salmon, or poached eggs on sweet potato. It is divine. And then typically for an afternoon snack, I will have a smoothie. Now in another video, I'm going to be going over all of kind of the more leveled up brunches that we can have. I've been loving this book that my client got me. You've probably seen me referring to it a couple of times in this video, but I will have it linked for you in the description box down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have subscribed so you can see the next video. Bye.